On today's show, now even the oil companies believe that electric car sales are going to grow fast. Meet the first Jaguar to ever be built outside of Britain, and BMW rushes to offer Skype in cars. All that and more coming right up on Autoline Daily. This is Autoline Daily, the show for enthusiasts of the automotive industry. A lot of people are skeptical that electric cars are going to catch on in a big way, and the biggest skeptics of all have been the oil companies. But now they're changing their tune. Last year, OPEC predicted there would be 46 million EVs worldwide by 2040. Now it's saying there will be 266 million EVs, a 480% increase. When the oil companies change their prediction in only 1 year, you know something is going on. And yet, the oil companies are not as bullish as the car companies, who are planning for EV sales to be much greater than that. Bloomberg New Energy Finance is predicting there will be 530 million EVs and plug-ins on the road by 2040. It says that will reduce worldwide oil demand by 8 million barrels a day, which is more than the combined daily production from Iran and Iraq. And that's why it's also predicting we're going to see a collapse in oil prices. Last month, Ford announced it's going to start building the Focus in China and export it to the American market. Well, earlier this week, GM and its Chinese joint venture partner, SAIC, started shipping Chevy Cavaliers to Mexico. GM introduced a new version of the Cavalier in China last September, and it's off to a great start, with sales exceeding 100,000 units. We think this is just the beginning. With passenger car sales continuing to slide, we expect to see more automakers importing passenger cars to North America from China. After all, why tool up a passenger car plant in North America that's probably going to lose money if you can just import what you need from China? Well, Jaguar just hit a major milestone. It's not going to build the E-Pace in Britain. That makes it the first Jaguar to be built overseas. The E-Pace is the little brother to the F-Pace, and no, despite its name, this is not the electric SUV it showed off recently. That's the I-Pace, which will start production next year. The E-Pace will be made in Austria and China. The compact SUV comes with a range of gasoline and diesel engines, all-wheel drive, and a host of technology, including a large center touchscreen. To help kick off the launch of the E-Pace, Jaguar set a Guinness World Record for longest barrel roll in a production vehicle. The driver experienced 5.5 Gs. The new E-Pace goes on sale later this year with a starting price just under $40,000. Coming up next, Continental has developed a new type of sound system for cars that doesn't use any speakers.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems, advanced materials that deliver better results. And by Lear, a global leader in automotive seating and electrical systems.
Here on Autoline Daily, we like to keep you up to speed with the latest technology coming out of the supplier community. As we learned on a recent Autoline this week, there is a lot of work that goes into integrating an audio system into a vehicle. But speakers in a car can take up interior room and can be very heavy. So Continental developed an audio system that doesn't use any speakers. It's called Actuated and uses transducers made of a magnet and a coil, similar to the core of a conventional speaker, to generate micro vibrations. These vibrations are sent through existing components and surfaces to create sound. Continental says the A-pillar is suited for high frequencies, while the door panels have the right properties for medium frequencies, and large components like the headliner are good for generating low frequencies. The total system is 10 times smaller or more than a conventional system and can weigh as little as 1 kilogram or a bit over 2 pounds. Actuated could also be used for navigation instructions or the indicator sound, with the added benefit of generating the sound where the driver's attention should be. Microsoft announced previously that it would bring Cortana, its voice-controlled AI assistant, into BMWs. Now Microsoft and BMW are going to bring Skype into cars. Skype for Business will remind BMW drivers of upcoming meetings, tell them if a meeting's been canceled or rescheduled, and call into a meeting for them, no dialing required. Microsoft Exchange will also save calendars and to-do lists in the cars and sync up contacts, so it will be like you never left the office. We'll let you decide whether that's a blessing or a curse. Coming up next, a look back in history as to why Henry Ford wanted to create the ideal suburb.
Bridgestone's revolutionary drive car tires are engineered to take a puncture and drive up to 50 miles on a flat.
I feel unstoppable, like a superhero.
With a sidekick.
Yeah, you're my sidekick, right, bud?
No.
Okay.
We're all familiar with Henry Ford's contribution to the auto industry, but did you know he also wanted to create the ideal suburb for his employees? On Autoline this week, we're joined by Heather Barrow, the author of the book Henry Ford's Plan for the American Suburb. And in the following clip, she shares why Henry Ford made this a priority.
It wasn't the most unusual thing for a leader of industry to be involved with the development of company towns. Someone that might come to mind would be George Pullman, for example. But what was unique about Henry Ford as an urban planner who had his workers in mind in terms of their living conditions was that he wanted to create suburbs for them to live in rather than a self-contained city, as many company towns had been. And he wanted to have the quality of life that goes with the suburbs, home ownership. Of course, he wanted them to be car owners as well, and he wanted them to have access to the better living conditions outside of the cities. You know, this was 100 years ago when cities were dirty, full of crime, pollution, crowded, lots of poverty, and he wanted to give them that better way of life. Another difference between him and somebody like a Pullman was that he created a model community of Ford Homes, which is a subdivision located in Dearborn, Michigan. It's still there today. It's been preserved. He wanted this to be a prototype that would be copied by entrepreneurial subdividers. He wanted his plan to be implemented, but not through him directly. He just wanted to put the idea in place. He wanted to create an ideology about what was a better way of life for American workers. He wanted to create this prototype as the physical embodiment of his vision, but he also did put his money where his mouth was in the sense that he created a higher wage, a living wage, where workers themselves could afford to buy the houses after the private subdevelopers had created them.
You can check out that entire show right now to learn more about Henry Ford's ambition to create the model suburb. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and have a great weekend.
Wards is the industry leader for news, data, and analysis. That's why companies across the globe subscribe to our premium service, maybe even your own. Log in for subscriber access now, check your company's intranet for details, and rely on wardsauto.com to keep you informed.